Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. It has been a little while, but I am back. We are live. Raymond Delvin, thank you for joining as usual. And Raymond, yes, I did take a look at some of the weather. It's been a little while since I've actually looked at some weather forecasts, but yes, tomorrow there is a little risk for some severe weather. And yes, I did take a look at, just briefly, I was looking at some like weather news stories, science news stories. One of them is that typhoon that's going to hit Guam, the strongest since 2002. Wow, Delvin, that's actually pretty interesting. Amsterdam and Netherlands have sunsets as late as 10 p.m. London is 9 p.m., which is not that too far from what we have now, but 10 p.m. Yeah, and I forgot where, but I've seen somewhere where the sun actually never fully sets. It never gets dark at night. So it could be Alaska. Where in Alaska? Meg says Alaska. Everywhere? I need a town. The midnight sun, she says. So I've seen videos of this where it could be midnight 1 a.m. and there was people golfing at 1 a.m. because it was still light enough to golf at 1 in the morning. But I wanted to say cheers to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. The drink of tonight is just a little bit of some new vodka I've tried called couch potato vodka and orange soda. Exactly. It's bubbly screwdriver. But hope everybody's been doing well. So I do want to say that it's been a while since I've been on. I did have a little short in a video that I put out last week, but it was quite a ride. Meg and I went with some friends down to Disney World. They had their 5-month-old baby. We got to go to Disney and with the baby, which was actually fun for us, maybe not so much for them. But that was fun. Then the week after we got back, found out my grandfather passed away. So that was a little bit of time to deal with that. Things are feeling better now. And now I'm feeling like I'm getting back into the routine. And also last week, I put out a video on something called the Dexcom. And this was a video I put out, I believe it was 2017. And in 2017, I was actually on my break from the news station at that point. I went outside and talked about, I'm still on this pump system called Medtronic MiniMed, where it's basically I am a cyborg, where a computer system is controlling my blood sugars in my body. And I'm on this new sensor right now called Dexcom. Still have right here in my arm. So now it's been 9 days that I've had this sensor in, and it actually is working really well. I do feel like I'm actually in much better control of my blood sugars with this system. And we'll see how it goes. I'm trying it for the first time. This Dexcom system, the Dexcom's been around for a little while, but this new system that I'm on called the G7 just came out about like 5 months ago. So it's fairly new. So I'm feeling pretty good with that. SPC does have a general risk. Yeah, we're going to definitely, can't have a weatherman do a live stream without talking about weather forecasting. So part of this, we will be talking about some weather forecasts. 1 month from now, London will have a sunset at 9:22 p.m. and Manchester is 9:41 p.m. That'd be really interesting to see the sun just setting at like 9:40 p.m. Okay. Everything's looking good. I did have a weird issue. I don't know what was happening with the computer or my camera. My Canon camera that I normally use for the live streams just would not connect. So I'm going back to the old camera I use, so it may not look as good, which is my Logitech webcam. Delvin, that's actually very interesting. I started watching a YouTube channel that a friend from work recommended called Not Just Bikes, where it was this family that lived in Canada that moved to the Netherlands because of the more public transit systems and bicycling systems. And there's a lot of information on there about roadways. One term that he used that I learned about was called a strode, which is a combination of a street and a road. And I learned about the technical difference between a street and a road, where a street is designed to be everything centric around human-sized. So all the streets have shops around them. Signs are so a human walking can see. That's a street. Road is for those in a car moving at faster speeds, bigger signs along the road. Like a highway is a faster version of a road. And this guy talked about this idea called a strode, which is a road, but it's at slower speeds, like street level speeds. And we have one right by where Meg and I live, which it's more of a small community, but if you want to walk somewhere, you have to walk across about 6 lanes of highway, or essentially highway. It's 40-mile-per-hour speed limit, but you have to walk across 6 lanes of 40-mile-per-hour cars. Not by us. Right in front here is 40. Yeah. Meg is a speed demon, she just admitted. She's from Jersey, so it's normal for a Jerseyan to break the law and speed. You do if you speed. That's breaking the law. That's the literal definition of breaking the law. Tell that to the judge. Yeah, Not Just Bikes is at 999,000 subscribers right now. They're very close to that 1 million, and that is such an achievement. But yes, I really do like the Not Just Bikes channel. You're a bit way too obsessed at the moment. Well, Delvin, I'm glad that you enjoy that channel too, because one of my friends from work turned me onto that channel, and I really like learning from there. Because again, it's not just about bikes, and I first started learning about that when I got my e-bike. Not the Harley Livewire, but my e-bike. I do have an electric bicycle. And at one point, because I live maybe a 3/4 of a mile away from where I work, so I was considering doing daily commuting on an electric bicycle to try and save gas before I got the Tesla. And then way before I got the electric motorcycle. Which, yes, the electric bicycle is the most efficient way for, in terms of fuel, battery fuel, that you can travel, but the electric motorcycle is just fun. All right. So let's bring up a couple of weather stories that I saw, and Raymond, you mentioned one of them. Guam with its typhoon. Let me switch on over to that. There we go. Cool. I hear my fans kicking up on the computer. All right. So this story is brought to you by the Weather Channel. Typhoon Mawar could be Guam's strongest in 20 years with potentially catastrophic storm surge, winds, and flooding rain. So this is really cool to see. We're not really going to play the video because I don't want the Weather Channel and IBM, which owns the Weather Channel, to copyright claim me. But just talking about it's fine. Strong typhoon headed towards Guam, which Guam is a U.S. territory, so that is U.S. soil. Actually, I have family members in the U.S. military that were stationed in Guam. Typhoon Mawar, I believe is how you said it. I'm not 100% sure on that. Bearing down on the U.S. territory of Guam with potentially catastrophic storm surge, high winds, and flooding rain in what could be the closest strike in 20 years. This could be the strongest typhoon to pass so close to Guam since 2002. So technically 21 years. But it's really interesting to see. And here's a radar image. So there's Guam right there. There's the system. That, when you see the size of Guam, which is just this little bit of land right there, and the size of this system, it's so massive compared to the island of Guam. Guam's one of those islands that I've always wanted to travel to, but never had the chance to. Because yes, it's still U.S. land, so it's not like considered international, but it's a Pacific island. I guess kind of like Hawaii, but Hawaii's a state. And here, Hawaii's a state. Whose stream is this? Anyway, here's the forecast path from the National Hurricane Center. It basically takes the eye of this typhoon right over Guam. And that's what's going to cause a lot of issues. The most prepared you can be may not be prepared enough for this system. Yes, Raymond, I know you love the Dixie Alley tornadoes. Radar scope. Let's see. I didn't. I had to restart. I've been trying to troubleshoot and restart my computer a couple times, trying to get my Canon camera to work, which just wouldn't. But let's see if we go out west, very far west, to Guam. There's Hawaii. Oh, there's the archipelago of Alaska. I can't go out that far. Okay. I've never tried to go out to Guam before, but it looks like the furthest west I can go is Hawaii. Yep, that's as far west as I can go. And then it's just those archipelagos of Alaska. Which is also one of those states I've always wanted to go to. I haven't traveled much in my youth and my current life. Basically in general. My iPhone and my Apple Watch have traveled more than I have. Realization. Think about the mileage that these devices travel. Blew your mind. Yeah, I haven't. Try east. Going east. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Maybe. We have a radar station there. We do. Wow. Thank you, Raymond. You need to go past Europe. Yes, I did, and thank you for that suggestion. Holy crap, this is quite a system. Let me put this in motion. So right where this little black circle is, that's where the radar station is in Guam. And wow, this is a massive system. I guess it's too far out from Guam to get really like lightning activity, but there was only like 4 bolts of lightning right there. Maybe another 6 over there. But either way, you have an eye wall and an inner eye wall. That means it's a pretty well-defined system. If you have essentially an inner and an outer eye wall. So I did not know you can go east to get to the Pacific, which is west. So thank you for that, Raymond. That's just quite a system to see. I actually might post just this radar image a little later. That's incredible. We're going to go this way. Yeah, Boston would be crippled in such a storm. And New York City, I would argue, is actually in a worst case scenario. Because, I'm not going to leave that, but with New York City, it's in basically this little catty corner. Versus Boston's just kind of along a coast. But you have almost a right angle coming up from the East Coast, from Jersey into New York City. And then it almost is a 90-degree angle to go into Long Island. So all the winds kind of force into this right angle. That is, and the point, the vertex of that right angle is New York City. That's why if there's the perfect storm, if you could say, that heads towards New York City, it's going to be devastating. Which is why Hurricane Sandy was, even though it didn't get all the way to New York City, it almost did. It did cause a lot of issues for New York City because of the amplification effect from that vertex of the right angle. All right, so this was the weather story 1, or science story 1 I wanted to bring up, which was this potentially catastrophic, and I would probably drop the word potentially. This is going to be catastrophic. Storm surge, winds, and flooding. So this is something definitely to watch. And just going back to that radar, this is something definitely going to watch. Because right here, that looks like the strongest of the rain. And there's, of course, rotation in the middle there. It's actually showing hail coming from the eye of this hurricane. Yes, so same exact idea as New York City, that right angle, that 90-degree right angle there. So that particular area near Boston there, that's a worst case scenario. Just like the southern tip of Manhattan, which is Battery Park, that's basically at the vertex of that right angle. This is just incredible to see. This is almost a textbook definition of a typhoon. Or is a textbook definition of a typhoon. Interestingly, see on the radar here? This little line cutting through the radar? This is very similar in terms of a radar signature to what happens with the Upton radar, which is based out of Long Island. With Long Island, there is a building that is set up right next to the radar station that actually blocks the radar signal. And that's why you have that little gap or that blank area of the radar. So I'm wondering if in Guam, there's some sort of building right here that blocks the radar signal from actually traversing here. Quite interesting. Again, Raymond, thank you for letting me know that to get to the west, I have to go east. Oh, this is actually, I just saw up here. So this is the radar station from Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. This is where my uncle was stationed. Yeah, I've never seen a Cat 3, maybe even, yeah, not just Cat 3 Plus, but Cat 3 hit Europe. Just because of the way the high pressure is set up. The subtropical high, it's called, in the Atlantic. It's really or nearly impossible to get a strong hurricane to head up to Europe because of the way the subtropical high is set up. All right. So moving on. So this was story 1. So let's have a little discussion now around story 2, which I thought was also really fascinating. New high resolution images of the sun are a tease of things to come. IFL Science. I don't know what IFL stands for, but IFL Science. All right, we're pulling this from. These are really cool images. This is a close-up of a sunspot on the sun, of course, because it's a sunspot. But these images, it's really fascinating to see almost the skin of the sun. To me, this looks kind of like dry skin or scaly skin. I wish this was a video, but here's a sunspot right here, and you can see just the blackness and almost looks like a valley that's heading into the inside of the sun. I'll have to look a little bit more into this IFL Science. It almost reminds me of another acronym called IRL, in real life. IFL, IRL. I don't know what IFL stands for. Yes, Boston is definitely prone to the car-centric part you're talking about, which is the urban heat island effect. Just like any city, whether it's big cities like Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Miami, Los Angeles, if we go west. But it's just fascinating to kind of see the skin of the sun, I'm kind of calling this, and a sunspot where the skin has a rupture. In this image here, a detailed look at the surface of the sun. Each is about 1,000 kilometers, 610 miles across. So this image from left to right is 610 miles. It's very fascinating to see. That's a really zoomed in image. And this sunspot here, it almost looks like the Scream videos or the Scream movies. Got 2 eyes and the long mouth. Very interesting. So, Delvin, the New York City has no trees besides Central Park. Yes, I know it has trees. But outside of Central Park, you're not going to find any trees around. So that's where the urban heat island effect really kicks into New York City. So this is really fascinating. I guess IFL Science is more space oriented. Um, this is a very odd story. I guess I'll have to look a little bit more into this company, IFL Science. Why did early humans have perfectly straight teeth? But early humans had perfectly straight teeth. Why? I'm kind of curious. This is a TED Talk. Oh, interesting. TED Ed. Why do we have crooked teeth when our ancestors didn't? No, they didn't. We looked at their. All right, so IFL Science has some very intriguing articles. I'll have to look at it a little bit more. But yeah, if you kind of just look at that skull, that is perfectly straight teeth. Like, I know I have one crooked tooth in the front bottom of my teeth, but perfectly straight teeth. A dentist would be very impressed by this skull. All right, so very fascinating. So those two news stories, science and weather news stories, Typhoon Mawar, and not the perfectly straight teeth, but the sunspots, very high resolution images of the sun. And the one thing I'll finish up by saying with the sun, I have always had a fascination, ignoring the temperature of the sun, which we know is very hot, but the surface of the temperature is not as hot as the corona of the sun. Basically, the atmosphere of the sun is hotter than the surface. But I've always had this fascination of what the texture of the sun feels like. Is it like a gooey texture? Is it plasma? Does it feel electrified? Is it solid? What does the texture of the sun feel like? I've always been fascinated with that. All right. I think that is it for the news stories here. We're not doing really sports. I do follow a couple of things with sports, but nope, not here. All right. Weather. Let's talk about some weather forecasting. Just very quickly. Not too much we're going to go in detail about. But here it looks like the National Weather Service hasn't updated their what to expect outlook. This is what to expect Tuesday, May 23rd, which is today, and today is pretty much past. There's only about a little less than 2 hours left of today. Go away, Siri. All right. Remember, it doesn't have emotion. Storm Prediction Center. So over Texas here, we have that slight risk for today. Let's take a look at tomorrow. So it really doesn't look like severe. And from what I've seen for that front coming through for tomorrow for the Northeast, doesn't look severe. It looks like we're going to have some garden variety thunderstorms. Just some general rain. Florida, it's there's just the state of Florida isn't a marginal risk. Florida is always in a risk of thunderstorms for severe thunderstorms. Yeah, Boston has had a pretty dry spring, and yeah, especially I'm in the suburbs of New York City, and it has been fairly dry the past couple of weeks. So we're going to have a little bit of rain tomorrow. The last time I remember rain was this past Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, it's been 3 days since we had any rain. And then after a little bit of rain with maybe a chance of some storms tomorrow, we're not really going to see anything for Thursday or Friday. Most of Saturday. Saturday might have a little sprinkle later in the day. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week look actually pretty dry. So yeah, tomorrow, overall for the Northeast, maybe not for Boston because it's just outside the thunderstorm risk. Because once you get closer to the coast, you have that marine layer stabilization that happens. But definitely for New York City, for the Hudson Valley, for most of New York State. Only noteworthy thing is the smoky, hazy skies last week. A deluge of overnight rain last weekend. Oh, very interesting. We had rain on Saturday here just outside New York City. But that was it. Raymond, are we in a drought? I don't have the drought monitor up. Hold on, let me pull up the drought monitor. I don't remember where I had that bookmark. I know there is a U.S. drought monitor. It is U.S. drought monitor. From there, from here, the .gov domain. Okay, let's take a look in here. So in New York State, we are not in any kind of a drought, but just going into the south, basically the shoreline of Connecticut. And I would say most of the coastline of Long Island, which is most of Long Island, is in a drought. Well, not officially drought. D0. D0 is considered abnormally dry. So it's not a drought, but drier than normal. So the average rainfall, it's below the average rainfall by a little bit, not a lot. Once you get to D1, D1 is considered a drought. So we're not in any kind of a drought situation anywhere here in the Northeast, even going all the way north into Maine. They are in the D0, so they are in the abnormally dry category, but not a drought. Like that. The only drought conditions you have to get to is going definitely out of the Northeast. We're going even south of the Delmarva area there. We are in a severe thunderstorm drought. Yes, we haven't had severe thunderstorms in a while. Pardon the pun. Very funny. Very funny. Yes, Boston South is in the D0, which again is not a drought. It's just considered abnormally dry. So less than the average rainfall, but not to the point of considered a drought. Do I have the legends? Map and legend colors may be altered when using dark mode. Okay. Where are the legends? Anyway, just to know here, D0 is not a drought. I mean, it's close to a drought. It's just considered abnormally dry. D1, once we get to there, I would call that salmon color. That is a drought. Yes, Delvin, that's actually fairly true because even though cities like, let's say London's known as the like dark, like rainy city but it doesn't rain a lot. It's more of a misty situation. And when you get mist in the area and cloud cover, it feels like it's moist and it's wet, but it's not actually getting into the ground. So you can have a drought situation with very humid air and a very humid air mass that might sit over a region like London. But if it doesn't officially rain, it's just misting or a little bit of showers, that can lead to a drought. How is Western US? So let's take a look at Western US. And very interesting. 2016 was a drought in Boston. So let's head out west. So most of California is in nothing. No drought at all. Not even D0. There's a little bit of D0 in the yellow there. And the D1 in Southern California, that's officially a drought. And then the very, very tip of Northern California, that little bit of salmon color there, we go from the D0, abnormally dry, into the drought. The worst, though, is actually central US. Not west, not east. Oklahoma going into Nebraska there. That's this darker color, this D4. That's where I wish I had the legend somewhere to know what D4 was. But I believe that's something like extreme drought. So any crops that are growing in this area are actually not growing because it's so dry they can't get water unless you're artificially watering your crops. Yes, Delvin, you are so right there. Boston, basically anywhere in the Northeast, we get these downpours from thunderstorms. But in areas like London and Amsterdam, you get drizzles and showers. So very light precipitation versus heavy but short precipitation. That heavy and short precipitation does lead to actually more, yes, flash flooding with runoff, but eventually that gets absorbed into the ground. Versus drizzle and light showers, it doesn't really penetrate the ground. Raymond, you bring up a very good point. The plain states going into a dust bowl, it's very possible because that's the highest level of the legend here for drought. So, yeah, panhandle of Oklahoma to a little bit north there. It could be near Dust Bowl levels dry again. So there are areas of the country that are very, very dry. But for us in the Northeast, we're doing pretty good. A little bit dry in some areas, but for New York, anywhere in New York, it's pretty good, except once you get into Long Island. Although Long Island is surrounded by the Long Island Sound and the Atlantic Ocean. Jersey has absolutely nothing to do with a drought. The armpit dumpster state of the Union. You're not in Jersey. Not anymore. I have a new position I'm going to be working at, and actually I'm working out of Jersey. And it's like, as a New Yorker, it hurts my heart to say I'm going to work in Jersey. It's like, they're trash, Jerseyans, in the state of New Jersey. Meg is a diamond, a fully polished diamond that I found in the muck and the sediment of Jersey. I'm giving you a compliment. You're a diamond. They can't hear you. I thought that was Florida because of humidity. Maybe. But it just feels like Jersey. I just went to Jersey today to buy, to like shop. Everywhere's under construction. There's a part of the main highways in Jersey that you just drive by sewage plants. And it's like Jersey is just one giant state of sewage. I-80. 80. You just drive the roads. Anyway, moving away from drought, let's talk about hurricanes. Hurricanes, again, because we've been talking about a dry atmosphere, there's no tropical cyclone activity in the National Hurricane Center. For the Atlantic, let's take a look at the Eastern Pacific, nothing there. And we did talk about a little bit going to Central Pacific and Western Pacific with that typhoon, but for us here in the Northeast, there's nothing really happening in the Atlantic. Yes, Raymond. Oh, when did you just find that out? It's illegal to pump your own gas in New Jersey. Yes, because Jerseys are lazy. Jerseyans can be lazy. The whole idea with that in Jersey, you're not allowed to pump your own gas, stems from a very positive thing where gas station attendants back in the day, we're talking like 50s, even in New York State, there were gas station attendants that would pump your gas, and you would have different lanes where you had full service and self-service. I think it's still a thing here in New York where you have these two lanes of full service and self-service. Full service is where maybe you didn't feel comfortable pumping your own gas, or kind of going back into the 50s idea was ladies don't pump their own gas because they're feminine, and feminine doesn't do anything with gasoline. So ladies don't pump their own gas, so you would pull up to the full service line, and a gas station attendant, which was a man, pumps the gas into your car for you. Or they started adopting the self-service, which was you pull up to the gas pump and you pump your own gas, which is actually what most of New York State does now. The only difference is going to Jersey, it's actually illegal to pump your own gas. You will get fined if you pump your own gas, which is mind-boggling to me. But the idea for that is the gas station attendant. It's to protect their job. New York State eliminated the gas station attendant. All you have is maybe like in the gas station, you have somebody at the counter in the convenience store part of the gas station, just ringing people up for little things they would buy in the convenience store. And people will pump their own gas. You pay with a credit card right at the gas pump. You do your own thing. But in Jersey, they didn't want to eliminate that job. So to protect jobs, specifically the jobs of the gas station attendant, they made it illegal to pump your own gas. So I've actually seen when I went to Jersey to get gas before I went all electric, was people trying to pump their own gas at gas stations in Jersey. And oh boy, they were scolded by the gas station attendant. And you do have some like entitled people that are like, I only pump my own gas, so get away from me. Caused lots of very loud arguments at the gas station. Which the gas station, in some areas, especially like the Costco gas station, which is so fast paced, you can have a lot of arguments that pop up at gas stations. I've had my most like awe moments at a gas station where I saw somebody trying to pump their own gas. They overfilled their gas tank, and when they pulled the nozzle out of their tank, it was literally a geyser of gasoline that shot them in the face with gasoline. It looked dramatic from where I was sitting. And then me and the person in the lane next to me, we just turned our heads toward each other and just stared with our mouths, or like jaws dropped, as we saw this person with a geyser of gasoline in their face. And they were basically soaked in gasoline. And they were so embarrassed, they just got in their car and left. Which is dangerous, too, because you're literally covered in gasoline. The gas station attendant, even though they don't pump the gas, it was just more for like making sure everything's functioning properly. They closed that line so they can clean up the gasoline spill from this person that overfilled their gas tank. It was both incredible and it's like, how stupid can you be? But also be like, maybe this person never pumped gas before. Maybe they came from Jersey, used to people pumping gas for them, and Costco was cheaper than Jersey gas. So they came here and tried it for the first time and failed astonishingly. We have an active tornado warning, don't know where. Where are you getting that information that there's a tornado warning? Let's go to radar scope and find out. Oh, I gotta head back east out of Asia. Sorry, west out of Asia, through Europe, through the Atlantic, back to the US. So just at a quick glance, the only active tornado warning I'm seeing is in Texas. Let's switch to this radar station here. And let's take a little deep dive into here. Ooh, I see a hook. Right there, that kind of looks like a hook to me. So here is in red there, the tornado warning. And that kind of looks like a hook. Let's put this in motion. Oh, it just like appeared. Oh, that's fascinating to watch. So this system here on the left is approaching, but is not actually part of this tornado system. It does have tornadic properties to it. But this is the system that the tornado came out of. And if you look at the radar here, it just appeared out of nowhere and started to move south. So that is most definitely a hook right there. Any storm chasers there? I don't know anybody that's storm chasing at the moment. I do have a couple of friends that do storm chase, and from what I've heard, they're not there right now. Oh, very interesting. So I will read this, Delvin. Gasoline is like one of the most dangerous things to outsource to citizens for transportation. Just a reminder from me why car dependency is one of the greatest mistakes of humanity. Wow, yes, that's what I was going to say. That is quite a bold statement there, but yes. Relying on the average human to pump gas, and gasoline is a dangerous chemical. To be honest, a lot of people that I've worked with and a lot of people that I know just don't feel smart enough to know what the dangers of pumping gasoline are about. Like one of the people I went to college with, he actually has a PhD in climate science meteorology right now. But when I was in college, he was from Jersey, never pumped gas before. So me and a couple people from New York and Connecticut had to teach him how to pump gas. And he was at the point where he also didn't know how to cook an egg. I think he's stuck. Oh, his left paw. You might need help. Yeah. The cat is stuck on the screen in the window right now. Oh, he got out. We are cat sitting right now. To be honest, this cat we're cat sitting is amazing. And I've never lived with a cat before, and this is fascinating to learn. Here comes the cat. Oh, more this way. There we go. There's the cat. Hi. Oh. Hey, buddy. I'm sorry that she's putting you through this right now. The other thing I didn't realize, he's very silent. He rarely meows. Sometimes in the middle of the night. But I never realized this too, but when his claw gets stuck in the screen, his bicep is so muscular. He is plopped on the carpet right now. So he's recovering. And he's playing. Anyway. Let's see. Discord ping. Raymond, you're right. It's very odd to see that movement of the system with the tornado warning go almost due south. Have a tornado on the outflow boundary. Yes, I did see that. So it's also, what time is it now? It's 10:30 right now. That means in Texas, it's probably either 9:30 or 8:30, depending on exactly where in Texas you are. So that's probably beyond the sunset. So to have nighttime tornadoes, that is also very rare. Delvin, let's remove elderly out of there and just people forgetting to turn off electric and gas stoves. Sorry, Meg, but Meg forgets to turn off the stove after cooking sometimes. Too often. She actually admitted it right now. Too often she forgets to turn off the electric. We don't have gas in our apartment. It's just electric. But thank God is what she said. But too often she forgets to turn the burner off. And I approach the stove and I see the light on. I was like, the stove is still on. So trusting her with pumping her own gas was also something very scary. Because you're from We agree that Jerseyans are dangerous. I'm just talking the voice of the people right now. And they agree that people from Jersey are dangerous. Are you? It's a nightmare. It's nighttime in Texas right now, and just checked my trusty day and night map. Yes. So, yes, it is. No matter where you are in Texas, it's going to be nighttime, but it depends on if there's just a little bit of light left or if there's no light. But anywhere you are here in this big state of Texas, excuse me, it's going to be a dangerous situation. Wherever you are along this line, whether you're in this just the severe thunderstorm part, or especially if you're in this tornadic part. This part of Texas I've never been to. I have been to Austin, Texas. Let's see, there's some of the, oh, here we go. Round Rock and Austin. I have family that's from Round Rock. And then they worked in Austin. So we had family members that visited and traveled to Austin, visited Austin. But that's the only part of Texas I've been from, is right here. Also, I've been part of weather conferences. The National Weather Service has conferences every year. And one of these I went to was in Austin, Texas, at a convention center there. I've never been to this part of Texas. Again, going back to I haven't traveled much. Yes, Delvin, that is very true. These states that are very car dependent. Let's see what this tornado was. So TVS, meso strength, hail size, 2-inch size hail. That can punch a hole through a window. That's very interesting to see right now. Yes, Raymond, you're very right. Straight line winds. So even going up here towards the panhandle of Texas, these severe thunderstorm warnings, straight line winds can have as strong of winds as that EF3 tornado. And yes, Delvin, that's also a very interesting point you bring up. Road rage is much more rare in the Netherlands, since people can take trains, walk, ride bikes, or ride the bus. Because you get less people on the road, and the people on the road, they also seem more courteous, especially more courteous than Jersey drivers. That was just a joke, but not a joke as. He is a Jersey cat. Anyway, so that's what's happening right now. That's really the only weather thing to talk about in the entire lower 48. And then I don't think there's anything in Alaska, nothing in Hawaii. We were just in Hawaii. Yeah, so the only thing in the U.S. right now is Texas. Okay. Moving on from here. Just a quick thing on the radar. So there's those intense storms in Texas. There's little bits of showers out throughout the west there. Meg, Raymond said I'd be sleeping on the couch if I keep it. We are not a couple like that, so I won't be sleeping on the couch. We like to poke fun at each other because New Jerseyans have flaws, New Yorkers have flaws, and we just make fun of each other. Yes, October 2020 did have some very interesting derecho events. Yeah, derecho events can have some pretty strong winds with it. I don't know why where the name came from, but I know derecho, that's the English way of saying it, but in Spanish it's derecho. Derecho means right. So that's those winds moving, and that's typically how it happens in the lower 48 in the U.S. The storm systems move from west to east, which when you're looking at a map is from left to right. So when you have a derecho, it's moving to the right. A la izquierda is left, and a la derecha is right. Yes, the backdoor cold front. That is exactly what's happening up there. That's what's going to be coming through the New York City area. Or basically New York. All of New York State. Through the New York City area for tomorrow. Oh, we won't go through too much. Oh, that's weird. This, the College of DuPage website, I usually go to for satellite, has failed. We are going to skip that and just go just a couple of quick forecast models here. So there's that backdoor cold front that we were talking about. So this is 18Z tomorrow. That's 2 p.m. for Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And here is 8 p.m. So between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be traversing from the kind of like the New York-Canada border through New York City. And that's also kind of where the time frame for Boston is going to be as well. Once that makes its way through, there's a high pressure in place, and that's going to stay in place for quite a while. The only other system that really comes through is kind of coming into this, which is Friday, June 2nd. It's not this Friday, but the Friday after that. And I don't really go this far out. The cat's just running everywhere. The GFS wants snow on the backside of Quebec. What time frame did you see? I missed that. Oh, I see it right there. Very interesting. The GFS, I don't think is going to be correct with that. All right, and just before we continue with the couple of forecast models, before we end the stream there, we're going to take a quick break. So if you need more drinks, feel free. I'm going to go get another drink right now. If I do get ever sponsored in the future, this would be the sponsor spot. Let me switch back there. Cool. And we are going to bring back up the music because I got this all working. And I'll be right back in just about 2 minutes. All right, we are back. And oh, there we go. Cool. So, like about maybe 10-15 minutes left, and then we'll call it a night. Let me just bring the weather maps back up. Cool. All right. So there's the GFS. The go to the Euro, some of the major ones. Oh, interesting. Pivotal Weather Plus features are temporarily free. Oh. Okay. What can I get with Pivotal Weather Plus? I mean, I can get snow stuff. I know there was some extra things in winter weather. Well, that's very interesting. They made everything free for Pivotal Weather Plus. What couldn't I get before? The question. I wish they still showed designation between what was not in Pivotal Weather Plus and what is. Let's just say this 2 meter theta E. The theta E information is something I feel like I only did in my junior year of college. Let's just see what happens. Oh, right. Pivotal Weather does something a little bit different with the keyboard. There we go. So you can still kind of see the spine of that front making its way through. And then it starts dissipating as the sun starts setting. Just curious there. 2 meter relative. No, we don't want that. Just go back to the standard precipitation. So there's that line that comes through. So this is what could cause some showers or potentially a thunderstorm. It doesn't look like it's going to be severe for tomorrow. Later in the afternoon. After that, there's just really nothing. Going through Friday, absolutely no precipitation at all in the Euro here. We're going into even going through now next Tuesday, nothing. So tomorrow might be the next rain chance for a week. So that could lead to a little bit more drought situation. Oh, Delvin, very interesting. What news station was that? An article that Boston to expect 25 days of 90-degree plus weather this summer, which honestly, I fully believe. Summers are going to get more and more brutal with 30 days of 70 plus dew points. Yes, once you get to that 70-degree dew point, 70-degree Fahrenheit dew point, it does get really humid, and that is what triggers severe thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorms really don't happen below a 70-degree dew point. You can get city level maps in Pivotal Weather. Oh, it was the region. We're in Northeast. Local. Okay. Southern New England. Okay. So I can see that now here. Let's rewind a little bit. So this is 8 a.m. Wednesday. And let's just go through this. There's that line making its way through. Really, by the time it gets to New York City, it's probably not going to be severe, but you can't say for certain it's not going to be severe. Also, a quick Dexcom update. It's really cool to just be sitting here, and on my watch, I can just tap a button and see my blood sugar. Saying exactly what we thought. It's going up, but not a lot. It's at 105 now, which is what happens with pasta. We had pasta for dinner. For those that don't know, with diabetes and you're tracking like blood sugar levels, with pasta and pizza specifically, they are very prolonged absorption levels. So if I eat pasta, which we had ravioli for dinner tonight, it could take 3 to 5 hours for that to fully absorb into the body. Versus if we eat something that's starchier, not starchier, sugary, like natural sugar, like an apple. If I eat an apple, that sugar is absorbed very quickly, within like 30 minutes. If I eat ravioli, that might take, again, 3 to 5 hours to fully absorb. So that's where when I give myself insulin for ravioli, I'm going to see a dip in blood sugar numbers to almost low level. I didn't get fully low, but I was just brushing that low level, and now it's peaking up a little bit to kind of back to normal. I'll have to actually research what Pivotal Weather Plus cost, because seeing this view versus a little bit wider out, I kind of like. I don't know if this is just for today, the 23rd, but I will definitely be taking a look at this going forward. Pivotal Weather Plus. If it's only a couple bucks a month, I might do it as a tax write-off for weather expense or meteorology expenses. But even this, once we get past tomorrow, it's looking like nothing. There's just no activity at all on any of these. And right now we're through to Saturday. We're on Sunday now. Still nothing. Here we go. A little bit here. So this is 2 p.m. on Monday, the 29th. And this is not even everywhere. This is just maybe a little sprinkle here and there throughout more upstate New York and Connecticut and Massachusetts there. Oh, let me see. Pull up a feature that also changes the single image to animation. Oh, interesting. Okay, to animation. Forecast loop. I guess that's forecast loop. Let's try that. Ah, that is very tropical tidbits like. So this is what Pivotal Weather Plus. Yeah, I might have to look into see how much Pivotal Weather Plus costs. Because I really like the information that this website provides, and if I could support them in their endeavors, I'd be down for that. You just look, there was nothing there until right there, which is Monday. And then after Monday, that slight little shower chance. There's just nothing here on the Euro. Going back to tropical tidbits here. Let's rewind a little bit. There's that backdoor cold front, Raymond, that you were talking about, going through. And there is a thunderstorm potential, but maybe not severe thunderstorm. And then once that makes its way through, really nothing until here, which is again Sunday afternoon. That's as far. What am I on? Which icon am I on? On the 120 hour. Let me back up one to the 12Z. Now that we're on the 12Z model run, go. That's Monday afternoon. By Tuesday morning, it's pretty much out, except in maybe this little like band in the Boston area. It's a little interesting for next week's weather, and it feels like it gets very specific depending on where you are. Yeah, so I'll definitely look at what Pivotal Weather Plus can offer if I am going to get a subscription to there. You're watching YouTube on your Fire Stick. You don't need to worry about eye strain. Cool. The GFF wants to spin that tropical system up. Yep, I did see that. Yes, I have noticed that before, that with that single image, every time you advance a time frame in the model run, it has to load up a new image. So with this loop on Pivotal Weather Plus, it loads everything at once, so there's no flashing of the screen. So anybody that may be susceptible to kind of like epileptic seizures may have an issue with that flashing screen. If we go back to the frontal patches near Boston, GFS spun up a low-pressure tropical system. GFS. Okay, so let's go back to the GFS. You're talking about here? GFS spun up a low-pressure tropical system. Low-pressure tropical system-esque system. Oh, the loop is free by default. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you, Delvin. And Raymond, I see it exact. I think I see what you're talking about right here. That little curve in the ISO bar on the GFS, trying to spin up something. Or it tried to. Yes, it looks like it tried to. That's better phrasing. The last one we'll take a look at, because it's just about time I wanted to end the stream, is just the NAM. We're on the 12-kilometer NAM. So let's take a look at what it does. There's that frontal passage. I mean, it does have something out here, but it doesn't look like it's spinning up too much from it. And after tomorrow with that severe, not severe, but thunderstorm potential, pretty much right there. That's 0Z Thursday, which is again 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. After that, nothing. A 1029 millibar high comes in, which is a pretty strong high. And that keeps everything else at bay. All right. Here we go. So just to pretty much recap, it looks like tomorrow there is not a severe thunderstorm potential, but it looks like just a garden variety thunderstorm potential as that backdoor cold front makes its way through. But that's later in the afternoon, 3, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. The beginning part of your day tomorrow actually looks pretty fine. Three-kilometer dam does show that better. Yeah. Delvin, I appreciate you're here till 11. So yes, I had some of that technical difficulties with the Canon camera, but otherwise, normally I would also like to be done by 10 p.m. So I'm going to just finish up right now. I'm still here to the end, so I appreciate you, Delvin, and I appreciate you, Raymond. But after tomorrow, with that little thunderstorm potential, with that backdoor cold front making its way through, it actually looks like we're not really seeing anything till Monday, which is a good stretch of nice weather. So, nice motorcycle weather will be nice motorcycle riding to work. But yeah, for this week, temperatures are pretty seasonable. We're getting warmer. Not really too hot. The 80-degree weather is really looks like coming next week. But for this week, again, fairly seasonable. What you would expect for May. And that's pretty much a wrap for this stream. Raymond, Delvin, thank you both for joining. I appreciate you always for whenever I go live that I can pretty much rely on you both for being there. Even if YouTube notifications don't go so well for smaller channels like me. Although I am at 191 subscribers right now. Very close to 200 subscribers. Which may be small for some, but 200 subscribers is an accomplishment for a very small channel. And my last little plug, as Raymond, you will always say too, NOAA Weather Radio. We're not having severe weather tomorrow, it looks like. But as the temperatures do increase, we head into summer. A weather radio is really key to have. Because if systems go down, like the cellular network, or your internet with your Wi-Fi goes down, your phone can't access the internet, it's good to have a NOAA weather radio. So I'm just going to pop that on right now. And we're going to go into weather radio mode. So I'm on a more interior part of the apartment here, so it's not going to be as clear. This will be better on a more like exterior wall. So I can always feel. Right there, okay. So I can always, not feel, but experience National Weather Service. Whether I'm on the internet or on local, just radio frequencies, the National Weather Service always has this available. That's where the last thing it said was Monday was partly sunny with highs in the mid-70s. So it's actually really cool to see that the NOAA Weather Radio is available. It's always being broadcast 24/7. Always down for some streaming rabbit holes. Oh boy. Not Just Bikes will be 1 million tomorrow or so. Yeah, so I'm going to be watching tomorrow with Not Just Bikes to see if they do get to that 1 million subscriber. They deserve it. I forgot the names of the person, but he is such a cool dude. And I really like the perspective that he gives on roadway construction and just comparing Canadian life, which is very equivalent to American life, to European Netherlands life. And yes, yeah, Raymond, we do live in the same state, so it always works pretty well. All right. So that is a wrap tonight. Raymond Delvin, again, thank you so much for joining. Anybody that is new to the channel, whether you're watching now live or you're rewatching the stream, if you want to get the latest weather forecasts or you want to learn a little bit about electric life, that's why I renamed this channel Electrified Weatherman. Feel free to hit that subscribe button below and the little bell icon right next to that so you get notified whenever I go live like this or I upload a video. I will have, I don't know if it's going to be this Thursday or next Thursday, my part 2 review of the Harley Davidson Livewire. Specifically, I have the 2020 Harley Davidson Livewire before Harley Davidson branched off the electric motorcycles into the sub-brand of Livewire itself. For the Livewire 1, I have the Harley Davidson branded one. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check out this Thursday or next Thursday for that, for my part 2 review. I might have another video on the Dexcom system coming up because I'm going to experience my first change, the sight change, where I have it on my right arm. It's supposed to be on the back of the arm. So I'm going to be switching that for the very first time from the back of my right arm to the back of my left arm tomorrow. I might do a video on that. So if you're interested in that with diabetes management, feel free to check that out too. Just checking a couple of comments here. Jason Slaughter. Okay. That's his name. Yes, it definitely gives me that feeling of appreciation and sometimes a little bit of jealousy for the European life in the Netherlands and the United Kingdom. All right, so have a great rest of your night, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all in the next video. And Meg says also this next video. And the cat is right here too to say in this next video. Good night, everybody.